So we give thanks to God for this evening and for this day and for our life. We give thanks for everything He has given to us, and we give thanks for all things. Once again, we are here to have a class. We ask for His guidance, for wisdom and understanding, for us to understand this. These are our many prayers in Jesus' name. Amen. So today, we are going to look at Python for data scientists proper. You know, when we started introduction to Python, we were just busy trying to understand what is this? How do we figure this out? Now we are into the real business, and the real business of data science starts here. Now, let's consider areas of Python we must really understand as we study data science. I visited this site called towardsdatascience.com. If you open it, you can see it says 10 must-know topics of Python for data science. This was to guide us to get a guide of topics we should discuss and wrap our heads around. So we shall follow their guide. Yes. The next of what they had, the first thing was functions. So we are going to discuss functions and arguments. So what is a function in Python? A function is a set of codes that defines a specific program. Inbuilt functions include print, read, input, etc. Let's write a function that welcomes people to class. If you look at a function that we want to welcome people to class, we can say, define a function called welcome. And we now put out a string there called name. And then we'd say, print, good evening, name, you are highly welcome. Supposing we write this program that requests for username, we will have something like user equals to enter username. They will now call welcome user. So this welcome user is going to recall this function that we called welcome, and then the program will run. It will not mind the fact that we already wrote something called name. So now let's test the function and see how it works. Let's go to our script. Mine, I'm using Atom. So now I wrote a function, I defined a function called welcome. And the function is to print good evening, name, then you are highly welcome. Now I declared a variable called user, and in that variable I called for input. Enter your username. Then I now call the function again, welcome the user. If you notice, when we define this function called welcome, we did not use the word user. But how come it is going to recognize? Let's see if it's going to work. Enter username. Let's say my username is Anedi. Now say, good evening, Anedi, you are highly welcome. Check very well. We did not use the word user while defining the function. I hope you understand this.
Yeah.
The idea is a welcome. This is the function, not what is inside. What is inside the function is called argument. Argument because it can change. Now let's move to another thing. Now let's get to the slide. Functions and arguments. The first thing we did was just pure function. Now, what is arguments? Arguments are statements that a function defines. A function that calls for a new name and then reads names from the updated list may look like member, bracket, name, updated list. The above function have two arguments, name and updated list. I hope we understand this. Anybody that doesn't understand to that point? So now, let's look at types of arguments. We have the variable arguments. Variable arguments act like normal variables in Python. They store only the most recent assigned value. Supposing I write a function that greets, greetings, then I now declare an argument called name, declare another argument called welcome message. Then in that welcome message, I now assign a string to it called you are welcome, we love you. Welcome message is a variable argument which can be overwritten. I may not want to say I love you, but rather I'm honored to have you. Then I'll call the function as greetings. I use your name, Mr. Isaac. Greetings, Mr. Isaac. You are welcome. I'm honored to have you. Then it will now print this instead of what I declared, which was the name, welcome message, and you are welcome. We love you. The variable will now store our new value. Let us look at that. Now, we use this one to explain how function works. Now, let's talk about arguments in function. Let's get something that can explain arguments. Now we say we can define a function. What do we say? Let's look at a function that greets. Greetings, define a function, greetings, the name, welcome message, you are welcome, we love you. So we define a function called greet. Or was it greet or greetings? Let's check. Say greetings, okay. So that we can be consistent with greetings. We define a function called greetings. And we now write name, comma, and then we now say welcome message. Welcome message equals what did we call our next welcome message? You are welcome. We love you. You are. I will not want to use another apostrophe because they will confuse us now that we are starting Python. In the future, we will know how we can use apostrophe, including with this other apostrophe. But for now, let's be writing in full to avoid all this stuff. You're welcome. We love you. All right. We have defined our function, and then we are going to print name, and then we print the welcome message. All right. Now let's input a name. Let's copy this user to input our name. This is the same process. Okay. Please, you can always pause and ask for explanation so that you can follow what you are doing. Then now let's define greetings. Greetings. Then user. Let's run that program. So syntax error. Invalid sample. Okay. Welcome message. Let's join. Let me see if that's a problem. See the same thing. Let me see what is the problem there. Okay, I've seen what the problem is. It wasn't even how we arrange the stuff. I've seen the problem. When I defined I didn't put the apostrophe here. I think that is a problem. Yes. I hope you have seen that. Are we there?
Yes.
You're welcome, Mr. To giving us syntax. So let me join that. Let me see. Is it going wrong? All right. Enter username. Who just entered the class last? Oyekomi Oluwaseun. Let's see. Let me write it properly. Oyekomi Oluwaseun. Let's see what it goes. Oyekomi Oluwaseun. You are welcome. We love you. Have we seen that? Have we seen that?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Did you notice anything? Did you notice anything while we wrote this code of this program? Nobody noticed anything.
I haven't noticed anything.
You have not?
No, I have not.
Okay. Did we define the word user in this function?
No.
Then
No.
come is able to know that we are trying to say we are trying to greet this user. That's what I want us to ask Those are things we need to take note. Blessing, I'm asking you,
So what did you say?
how come did you know that we are trying to, that we want to put something for the user that we type?
Because it is a stored function already on Python. That's what I believe it is.
User?
Yeah.
No. Any other person? Blessing, you have an idea?
So I think because user is the input. Uh,
I explained it, Mr. Isaac. I explained it when I wrote the first one. Okay, so that we don't take time. The thing is this, what we defined here was greetings. That is the function. Greetings is the function. Every other thing in the bracket is called argument. You understand?
yes, sir.
Yes. So now, actually wanted to show us something else, but since this person came in, I just somehow reversed. I want us to still see something. When we define this function, the greeting is a function. So anywhere we call greetings, anything we input is going to print out that input. So far as we call the function called greetings. We understand now?
Yes.
All right. So now I wanted us to see a variable argument. Now, supposing when I wrote greetings here, I now say comma, I now say comma, or what should I say? Comma, please be coming around next time. Comma, or alternatively, I now say a new message. Let's say welcome message. Let me declare another welcome message. Please come around. Come around next time. Want to play around this and see how it goes. Then I print welcome message. Let's see if it's going to still run the program. Let me write an idea. Okay. Have you noticed something? Check the messages. Check, compare. I want us to compare something. Have we noticed something?
The next slide, the new slide. Okay, I can see that one.
Have we noticed something from what the program that just ran and the previous program that ran? Blessing. Mr. Sheung, have you noticed something? You will not notice that you are welcome, we love you, did not run in this other program. Even when we declare the function greetings.
Okay.
Now, why?
Because the new welcome that you gave, you didn't put we love you, so it took the nearest the newest one. That's what I know about.
Because it is a variable argument. You understand now?
Yeah.
The new message, I've overwritten the other one.
That one.
So it is not fixed. There are functions that are defined and fixed. This is how it should go. Example, a division function. Once you define division, it divides, doesn't do anything. But certain functions are allowed to change. You can allow them to change because they are not fixed. Once you declare an argument, you can either declare an argument as a default argument or you declare it as a variable argument. We understand now?
Yeah.
So in this case, welcome message is a variable argument. This is what I was trying to explain here. So we have variable arguments. Variable arguments act like variables in Python. They store only the most recent assigned value. Supposing I write a function that greets, like I explained. So whatever I now change, so we'll now have the new variable argument. That is for that. We are going to see other things about function argument. We now have arbitrary arguments. The idea of this is to allow us input as much as we can into a function. I may build a list. I may build a list of names of members of this class and call a function to greet every one of them. Let's say greeting. I write a function called greeting. Then I now build an argument. So for me to be able to build that argument, I use asterisks. So when I put asterisk before the argument, then I now write my message. The program may look like this. For name in members, greet, name, message. You understand? All right, let's see how that one might look like if we play around with it. Let me hash this one so that they do not run while we are trying to get another program to run. All right. What did we say will be our program? Greeting, name, and message. All right. Greetings. So we define function called greetings. We now asterisk the name. And then we now write a message. Let's say the message is welcome. To class. So it's going to print. Then we now write the program for We now write a for loop. Now write a for loop that reads that function for, let me see how I wrote that program, for name. All right, I'm going to give you a chance, Mr. Isaac. For name in members, greet name message. For name in member, greet, greetings, name, the message. All right, Mr. Isaac, you have the floor.
Okay, just a little suggestion.
Yes.
Why not we change the variables or the message instead of welcome? We could say something like you are early or another information so that we're not confused with the first one. First one is
Okay,
welcome.
just pause what you can say. Anything.
You are early.
You are early to class.
Yeah, something like that. Thank you.
All right. So now let's see how that program runs. No, I think we have to, the function is correct, but we have to now make an input statement that we now list the names. So
Yeah.
let's follow. Let's create a list of names. Let's create a list of names. I don't want to. I don't want to do input statement. Let me just create a list. Let's call the list attendance. Let me use the word attend equals to list. How many people are in class? We have an
Oh, an 85.
We have, who else? Isaac.
Blessing.
We have Blessing.
Oluwaseun.
We have Oluwaseun. All right, then let's greetings attend. Let's see how it goes. Because of problem, name members is not defined. Okay, for name in okay, this has to go. This has to go. This would not be here. This should not be here. This is different thing entirely. All right. So now that one will now be here. That one, that for loop will now be here. For members, let's call it for members M in class, in attend. Greetings, attend, greetings mem, comma, message. All right. Let's see how that program runs. Still has a problem. Message is not defined. No, we define the message. Greetings. Okay. Greetings name. Let's see how it goes. Still have a problem. I think I didn't get that program right. Let me see the next slide. If I did something different. For members in class, greet, name, and message. I think I have to look at that program. I have to look at that program again and see how it goes. Define this. Let me check out this follow and see, because that might be a problem. See having issues here. I would like to let me see the error message. It says see line 18 module 18 to 10. I think that program has a problem. Line 18 and the rest. I think it has a problem. So I didn't want us to go around long message, but okay.
Maybe we just continue with what you were doing, but maybe for next time.
I've seen the problem.
Okay.
I should have written here print name. I should have written here print name and message so that I could have defined the function properly. Then I would have now wrote members, attendance, attendees. That is one thing about this. If you don't look at it very well, you make lots of mistakes. That is why most times it's better to just write them before the class. But be it as it may, it's good that we see some of these little things. All right. Now we can say for mem in attend. Greeting. Mem. Let's see. Let's see that one wrong. All right. That's Ron and AB. You are early to class. Isaac, you are early to class. Blessing, you are early to class. Have you seen that? Have you all seen that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The mistake I made was when I defined greetings, I forgot to complete the function statement. I wrote something different. So I've written a print statement. So that was what made that error. So that was it. So now you can create a list of names. You see, it was supposed to be, if we didn't put this, it would have saw this as one name. We have saw all these lists as one name. Okay. Okay, it's even seeing it better. But the idea of this that we hysteric is it enables you to put multiple arguments. So that asterisk makes you to put as much arguments as you can. I can create many arguments, include attend, I can create other arguments. I can create age, I can create sex and other using the asterisk. So the asterisk itself allows us to create as much arguments as we can. So and we need to understand that it's not only about the number in the list, it's about the number of arguments that we can create. We can create for age. Look at how old we can create for sex. We can just say gender equals to, we can say this is male, this is female. Oh, male, not female. This is male. We have the next person to be female. Oluwaseun, I hope is male. Male person. So we can say greet men. For men in attend, greet men, bracket, gender. Let's see if that one will go. I'm just trying. I'm not saying, I'm not expecting it to run. So, but it has responded, though not in a proper way. Let's see. Let's say from mem, comma, um, for mem in attend, greetings, mem. Ah, let's leave that one. Maybe next class we are going to look at something like that. But the idea is this: it has allowed us to create more arguments without it blowing up, telling us that giving us error messages. So we can create as much arguments as we like. You understand that? Are we here?
Yes, we are.
So the Python program was able to run without telling us that we declared only one argument because we included asterisk. It allowed us to create gender and it still run, even though it merged all of them together. We need another program to be able to split. We did something about lists, zip lists in last class. That is a program we would have used in merging this, merging Aneri to male, merging Isaac to male, merging Blessing to female, merging Oluwaseun to male. But we don't have to go back there. It's another program entirely. We can do that, but it's going to take time and is outside the scope of what we want to achieve here. So now summary, rules to defining a function in Python. Defining a function, you can define functions to provide the required functionality. Here, simple rules to define a function in Python. Function blocks begin with a keyword, def, followed by the function name and parentheses. So if you fail in any of this, like you remember that time we struggled to get this thing right. Oh, Oluwaseun says she's female. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. So remember that time we were having challenges. It was because we failed to do the necessary things in function. So once you miss, the program will not run. No matter how beautiful the program might look like, it will run. Any input parameters or arguments should be placed within these parentheses. You can also define parameters inside these parentheses. What it means is that everything you want to say about that function, all arguments, definition must fall within this parenthesis. Saying this. If it doesn't fall inside this bracket, that function will not run properly. So everything you want to say, no matter how long that how do I call it, argument is, even if it's a calculation, they call it a formula, even if it's a note, all of them have to fall under this bracket. Then you now declare a print statement or a return statement. We are not into return statement yet, but all function breaks at a return statement. So this print statement can take the place of return statement, but properly, a proper function works with return statements. But I'm trying to avoid it for now until we get used to Python program so that we know how to write it properly. So now, okay, let's get to this. Any input parameters or arguments should be placed within this parenthesis. You can also define parameters inside this parenthesis. The first statement of a function can be an optional statement. Remember when we said name, it can just be any statement. It can be anything. It can be school. It can be anything. It does not necessarily mean that when you finally call for that function that you use that thing you use in defining the function. It's an optional statement. The documentation string of the function or the doc string, they are all optional. I can just say shoes, but when calling for that function, I may not be calling shoes. But the most important thing is the definition of the function and what is supposed to print or return. The statement return expression exits a function. Remember I talked about print and return. Oh, I've skipped something. The code block within every function starts with a colon. If you remember that first function that did not run, it was because we did not put this colon. So always remember to put a colon. We'll always remember that in future. The statement return expression exists a function. In the absence of return, print statement covers. But as we get familiar with writing programs, we'll get familiar with return statements. Return is a bit easier, but if you make a mistake, you will not know where you've made the mistake because it will just return and close that function, and you will not know whether that function ran properly or not. So that's why we are using print, so that we will know where we have challenges. We can remove this print statement and write return. But if we make a mistake, we may likely not know, because once that program runs, to just terminate without us knowing if it was actually correct, because return statement just runs the function and terminates it. But print, if you make a mistake, it will just blow up and tell you that you have made a mistake. I hope you understand.
Yes.
Are we there?
Well, yeah.
So the return statement is the proper thing to use in functions. A return statement with no arguments is the same as return none. Remember what I said. You might write and write and write after using the return statement, and if it doesn't understand, it will just return no value. And you will not know where the problem lies. So for us to avoid that while starting, we have to start with the print statement so that we can understand. It is print statement that if we make mistake, we will know where our mistake is. So the source of this information is www.tutorialspoint.com/python/python functions.html. So positional and keyword arguments. I talked about arguments, um, increasing the number of arguments. But first, let's talk about positional and keyword arguments. When we wrote this program, I will summarize this. In practice, we'll get to meet this, but so far, it is not a problem provided we can write a function. Let me just use it to explain. The idea of positional and keyword arguments is a bit confusing, but let me explain it here. Positional arguments, if we go to the first function that we wrote, this is a positional argument. Come to the second one. This is positional argument. Now, what is keyword argument? Keyword argument is a function whereby we define all of them. Like this welcome message can pass as a keyword argument. But in this case, it is made with a positional argument. So we might have issues. So the idea of keyword argument is that we can declare a function, declare a name, and just put equals to our input statement. Let's say this is user. You can say our name equals to users. Are we there? Are we there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Once we do this, anytime we call name in our function, even if we call name at the last and put welcome message in front, it will still run. Do you understand? But in this case, if we try to put welcome message in front, it will blow up, it will give us error message. Let me hash this other one and run down one so that we can understand. Let's see if that can pass for positional or keyword argument. Let me see that one. Enter username and ID. ID, please come around next time. Okay, that was a message. Message we passed. Now, I want to do something now. I want to greet welcome message before user. Let's see if it's going to run. Please come around next time, Anedi. Have you noticed that it has run? Because we declared two. Imagine that we did not declare users here. Let's see if that will still run. Please come around next time, Anedi. Does still run? Okay. That is a keyword argument then. We don't have a problem there. Now, let's remove this welcome message. Now, let's try and run. No, we have a problem there. Let's try and run. Let's hash this. Let's write here. You're welcome. You are good, user. Let's see if it's going wrong. Now, are we there? Looks like okay.
I'm here.
Have you seen that it has given us an error message?
Yes.
It said invalid syntax. It did not tell us that our program, it said invalid syntax. It tells us that when we declared that function, we said name and then we gave this thing. But while we, line 7, let's see, let me remove that. Let me see, remove this comma. Let me use your word. You're welcome. Line 7, still have issues. Still having issues. I still want to join in. I just want us to see something. See? Still having issues. Still having issues. Not running. Okay. Okay, name, message. Let's say print you are good. Let's see if it's still on. Print name and print message. Okay. Okay, let's make the message to be you are good. Want to get something. I'm changing the position of the message now. Oh, okay. Still running. I think all these are program and more keyword. I'm trying to get the other one that is the positional argument. I'm not able to get it. So what we have here is a keyword argument. But I want us to understand the logic behind this. We're still getting the same thing if we switch. Let's see if it's going to print here. All right. Now, say what? Okay. Type error, greetings. Missing one required positional argument called message. Are we seeing that?
Yes.
But I'm not sure it's going to do the same if we print user. Let's see. Let me see if we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Greetings. Listing one required positional argument. So the idea is this: once you declare a function and you have set them at their position, they are going to be the way you have set them. Let's call this user to be named. Let's call it to be named. Let's see if we change that position, we're going to affect to. Okay, doesn't affect that one. So the idea of positional argument is that it has to contain the position in the position of the argument. I'm going to look at it again. Maybe next time we are going to discuss it, but by likely not be in tomorrow's class. But I want us to, in the summary of functions, I want us to understand that keyword arguments is that we are able to call it anytime we call the function. And positional argument is that they have to be included while it has in their position while calling for the function. Then the asterisk, the first asterisk has to do with the argument. The first asterisk has to do with increasing the arguments, which is like a typical example is name. Name is a positional argument. Then message here is the keyword argument. So if we want to increase this one, we can use asterisk and we can write as much as name, age, and the rest. And if you want to increase this one, we can use double asterisk and we can write different messages for different people. So we can call as many messages. You can say this is message one, and we can say write another message two, and it will keep increasing, and it's going to call all of them and it's going to answer for everybody. So we can say message two here. So this one we can say call it gender like we did the other time. We can call gender and assume that everybody are male here, or input gender. You can say input gender. Let's not assume, so that then in this case the message you can say thank you for coming. Thank you. Okay, you are good. Thank you. All right, let's see how that one goes. We are rounding up the class. We are just summarizing something here. Okay, gender is male. I didn't write down one well. Then message is not defined. Okay, we are going to define that one. So gender here, I have to write down one properly. Then we are going to print message. I'm going to print the story too, and we print the name. Okay, let's see how it goes. Print message 1, message 2, then we are going to print name, and we are going to print gender. Let's see if that one is good. Okay, that's printed that. Printed all of them. So this asterisk allowed us to increase the number of the arguments, increase the number of these positional arguments, and increase the number of these keyword arguments. But we are still going to look into this function and arguments when we are talking about classes. That is why I wanted some other person to take us on classes and the rest of them, so that we will get to understand more of this. And when we do, we will understand Python better. Remember that I'm also learning this. So thank you everyone for coming. I didn't expect us to use up to an hour, but it looks like we are. So God bless everybody. We pray that
God
whatever
bless you
we
too.
learned today will be useful to us, and we'll be able
Amen.
to understand it better.
Amen.
Thank you for coming. So tomorrow's class will continue. We should give something for us to go and do. Isaac, what do you think? You have something to do.
Yeah.
We are supposed to take classes tomorrow. All of them, I think they are related to functions too. We need to understand it. And I expect us to have lots of questions. Do you have questions?
There's something left.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know if it is because we are using atom.
Okay.
My function always has 2 apostrophe, but yours is just 1 in each of them. Why is it that way?
Which part?
Like,
Okay, share your screen. Let's see.
Okay.
Let me stop my screen.
Sorry. Somewhere around here.
Okay.
Yours is 1 apostrophe. Mine is double in all of the things I tried to do. Like the functions.
Define welcome name. Double apostrophe. Wait, mine is double too now.
No, that is 1. Or am I seeing?
Okay. We are talking about not colon. Okay. Apostrophe. Yes. You can use both single and double apostrophe in Python. Does not have to.
No, whether run with 1.
Okay, when you do single, it does not respond.
I've not tried it, but I just observed that everything about it.
No, you can use. But the idea of using double apostrophe, I wanted to mention it later, is that if you have to abbreviate a word like you are, YOU apostrophe RE, you must make sure that double apostrophe is used in covering the statement.
Okay.
You understand that? Or you increase the number of apostrophes. I didn't want to start saying that so that we don't get confused.
You said you'll say it later. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Good night. Please, we can read off so that we have lots of questions. I want challenging questions that will make us to go back and look at it. Like, you know, when I'm trying to write some programs, I make mistakes. I need us to come up with challenging things. Like Isaac is trying, like he mentioned that apostrophe. And I believe one or two people may have had issues like that, but did not mention it. So let us keep trying something so that we bring out something that we can brainstorm. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Good night.
also.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good night, sir.